Hi, this is a bit of an impromptu video, so excuse the mess, although there's always a mess where I am. One of my viewers asked me if I could show how to make the little box or wallets that go on the back of these desk stand calendars that I've demoed before. So I'm just going to show a couple of ways you can make one of these. I'm just going to use some retired DSP to demonstrate. And I'll use some nice bright colours so that you can see. The first thing is to decide how big you want it to be, this pocket, and that'll depend on the width, obviously, of your calendar, because you can't make it any bigger than that. So this one measures 4.5. So if we look at the box or the wallet, whatever you want to call it, on the back being 4 at the biggest it can possibly be, that leaves us half an inch on each side. So I'm just going to show you how to work out how big to make it. So if we wanted it to be, so if we imagine this is our box, yeah, I'm not very good at drawing. And so we want it to be 4 inches this way, yeah? So we need it to be half an inch on the sides, yeah? And then we work out how high we want it to be. So for instance, this one is 2.5 inches. And then obviously this width here is half an inch as well along the bottom. So we need to cut our paper then. If you're going to have a back on it, you obviously need to double up, but if you're not going to have a back on it, what you need to do is allow for some flaps here, say of half an inch on each side, yeah? So so what you need to do is you need to have your 4 inches plus your half inch for this side, plus your half inch for that side, plus your half inch for your flap at the other side, plus your half inch for the flap on the other side. Obviously, if you're going to go right around, you'd add your 4 inches this way, if you know what I mean. So you'd go 4 half and 4 up the back and make it on your long side rather than on your short side. So if we're going to do it this way, then we need 6 inches that way, and then we need 2.5 inches down plus a half inch for the bottom fold, plus a half inch to give us a wallet at the back. So we need 3.5. So we need a piece of cardstock or paper that's 6 inches by 3.5 inches. So we'll grab that here. That's a nice size as well, because you can, you know, 6 inches is a good size for projects, because just 1 minute, I've just got to take that phone call. Okay, so we've got this piece that is 6 by 3.5, and now we're going to score it. We're scoring it at, on the long side, at half an inch, and then 1, and then 5, and 6, 5 and 5.5, sorry, and then we'll turn it around and we'll score it at 3 and 2.5 at the bottom. Okay, and then what we'll do is you can just get a circle, 1.25 inch circle. A 1.25 inch circle, and I'm just going to, I mean, you can measure it if you want, I'm just going to do it by eye and just make a bit of a notch there. And then I'm sorry that I'm a little bit out of kilter. Halfway through, really sad, but halfway through making this video, I got some really bad news, and I've come back to it sort of 3, 4, 5, I don't know how many days later, and I've just literally just sat back at my desk as exactly as I ran off and left it. I'm trying to remember where I was and pick things back up. So I can't find my bone folder. I'm not quite sure where I popped that. Let me just check that it's not in my usual place. I think what I'll do is I'll just use this out of my envelope punch board because it's there. So just fold and burnish those score lines. On each side, and then all you do, oh, there's my bone folder, I've just spotted it, and then obviously that wants to fold around like that, and that wants to fold around like that, and this wants to fold up. So in your corners you'll have, I don't know which is the best place to sit, but in your corners you'll have 4 little squares. So if you just cut out, what you want to be doing is cutting away the 2 at the end, like that, and then just that 1. So you're just leaving yourself the 1 there. And that's going to just be a tab that will help you to make this shape. So these pieces will stick to your box, and this piece will come up. And so for that matter, you need to just trim up, and not trim up, just cut up to the first score line on those little tabs there. And then that's how it's going to work. Okay, so you'll have, your box will go together like that, and then that would fit on the back of your calendar. So once you've got to this point, then you would put a little bit of glue onto these 2 tabs here and just make your, just bring them in like so, and just hold it until it's stuck, and then just hold that until it sticks. Yeah, I felt really bad because obviously I was doing this for a viewer, and I promised I'd do it that day, so I hope you understand that, you know, it was a pretty tragic event that took me away. So right, and then for these bits what I'd do is just to neaten them up. It doesn't matter because you're not going to see them anyway, but is to just neaten them so they're not protruding around the edge of your box, is just stick them to the sides there, or you can just glue this straight away and just stick it onto the back of your box. You can stick it with tape, or you can stick it with whatever you want to stick it with. Okay. Now another way you can do this is to make a concertina to put on the back, which would be quite useful. So we need a piece that's 5.5 by 4. 5.5 by 4, and you'll see what how I'm gonna do that in a minute. And then you'd need a couple of pieces. I'm just going to use this just to show you better. I'm going to do them 2 inches by 2.5. So 2 inches by 2.5. You don't need that piece. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just score those. Sorry, my desk's a bit messy as well, isn't it? I think somebody must have been in here while I've been gone, because I've been in ITU for a few days, and grabbed some bits and bobs and have made a little bit of a mess. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to have it, so the 2.5 inch, so we're going to have it on the shorter side, and we're just going to score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch and 1.5 inches. Okay, So 1/2 inch, and 1 inch, and 1.5 inches. And then this side we're going to score it at 2.5, 3, and that's it. Two and a half, 3. Oh, and then we're going to score it at at 5.5. Okay, right. Now, what we're going to do with these is we're going to fold them in a concertina style so that we've got our peaks and troughs, just like that. Concertina, and just press it down, just alternate peaks and troughs, and press it down. And then we're going to use that just to fold down the back, the front, sorry, and then we're going to just concertina. Okay, and then what we're going to do, we're going to make a little, again we're going to do a little ouch, I'm just going to leave that up like that, and then you want to take your edges and you're just your side pieces, and you're just going to glue one edge between this score line and the first of your middle score lines. Okay, so if you just pop some glue on one side for now, and then you just pop that on there. I mean, you can do this in a contrast or you can do it in the same paper, it's up to you. Just make sure both your sides are the same. So pop some glue there. And then just stick it in between those like that. And then what you want to do next is just pop a little bit of glue. Do you know what? I don't even know why, I'm sorry, I don't even know why I kept that section there. It doesn't need to be there at all. I'm really sorry. I'm not thinking straight. And then just pop your glue on. And then just fold it, but don't let this go into this 1/2 inch space. Let that meet up. You want that to meet up with the other score line. Best way to do this is to take your flap and line it up with the top of your little concertinaed piece. Okay, so line it up with the top of your concertina piece, and then you get that little gap in the middle there. And then what you can do is you can pull open your wallet. Okay, so now when that gets glued onto the back of there, you can pull it open, and you can get quite a lot of bits and bobs into it. Okay, so that's just another sort of design. And then obviously if you want the box to go right the way around and have a back on it, then you do it in a slightly different way again, where you'd have your 2.5, so you'd have your 5.5, and then you'd have your 5, so you'd have 5.5 by 5. So let me just show you how to do that size as well. So 5.5 by 5, and then what we'd do with this one is we'd have our scores at 2.5 and 3. Oh, sorry. on our long side, so 2.5 and 3, and then this side we'd have the scores at 1/2 and 4.5, okay? And again, we'd fold and burnish. Ooh, I thought I was ready to just get back into some crafting to help me just get over what's happened a little bit, but I don't think I'm quite ready for it, to be honest. I think I could have, my head is not in the right space, I don't think. So I'm just going to finish this video off and then I think I'll be taking a break. So again, let's just cut the notch. If you want to measure the notch, which you should do really, just measure to 2 and then measure back however wide your notch is. So if it's an inch notch, measure back 1/2 inch, or just try and get your centre of your punch on the 2 inch mark. And then all we'll do is we'll just bring this over, let the front flaps be on the outside like that, so you get a nice smooth finish, and all you have to do then is apply a little bit of adhesive to these 2 flaps, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And just trim if you have to. You shouldn't have to if you've done it perfectly, but I'm not really doing things perfectly at the minute. And that's it, and then you'd stick that on, and then you've got a full box there. And you could even go one further, and you could even put a flap over, so it's like an envelope and it's a covered box. So there's a few ideas here. Hopefully you'll find those useful. Thank you for joining me, and if I'm not back again before Christmas, I've got a lot of videos ready to put up, so I will be putting them up anyway. But if I don't make another one before Christmas, a new one before Christmas, I wish you a happy Christmas and yeah, a peaceful season. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye.